down at Disney Springs. I am on a mission. What is going on, guys? I have not been to Fort Wilderness, and now I'm down here at Disney Springs. And I'm going to try to see if I can't get to Disney Fort Wilderness from Disney Springs and what that takes. I think I've got a line on what it's going to take. Hang on, guys. So the first thing I have to do is try to find bus transportation. Everything, all of the different modes of transportation down at Disney, the buses, the boats, the monorail, even the monorail, are free. And you have to take a bit of all of them to try to get to Fort Wilderness. So I am in search of the transportation area where the buses go. I think I found a lot of buses. And this is where we're headed. And I have a number of different options. The buses generally go to all the different resorts, including Fort Wilderness right there. But I think if I go to Contemporary Resort at Gate 7, I could take a boat over to Fort Wilderness and go that route. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. All right, we got our ride. The Contemporary Resort. So I should say, I guess another goal today will be not only Fort Wilderness, but riding the different transportations, including the boat and the monorail. Might as well make a tour of it. But this is the Contemporary Resort is the next stop on the list. And we take a boat from here, hopefully, cross your fingers, if it's running. I have about an hour and a half before the boats open up, but the Contemporary is also a stop for the monorail, so I thought, oh, I'll get on the monorail and do that.
Slow down, guys.
Alright, monorail almost completed.
So I told you I could go She said, look,
Thought I'd take a trip around the Polynesian and check, see what that's about. Somebody left the tikis on. Ooh. Does that say Kona Coffee? Actually, it's Kona Cafe, but maybe they have some Kona coffee. Yeah, one of my favorite coffees is Kona. Gonna make that happen. Absolutely. All right, got my coffee. Gonna check out the rest of the Polynesian. What is going on, guys? Welcome to Happy Hour Live. I'm Dave, and I might not be wearing pants. You can't see, so I'm just saying. Guys, I tell you what, I had a blast. I'm going to be posting that video up here. I like to give little clips and kind of show what's happening there. But let's say hi to everybody. Tonight's live though is kind of a good one. I think. I was contacted by a subscriber, and we're going to introduce him here in a little bit. He's also got his own channel, so we'll introduce him. But he brought up some concerns about traveling to Florida. I thought that would be a great subject to bring on. Not only people that are native to Florida, also beginners of Florida, what it takes to full-time into Florida, especially if you're used to the Southwest, you're used to being able to find anywhere that you want to go, and you can boondock, and we're gonna cover all of it tonight. Hopefully we'll cover all of it, so we'll see if we can cover it all. So real quick, let me say hi to everybody. X Fired Up gets first in the house right there. How you doing, Bill? Glad to have you here. Finally My Time is here. That's formerly Market Share. You've had that name for Finally My Time for a while now, so I guess we don't have to say formally anymore. Next Exit is in the house. There's Mr. Bob right there. Glad to have you here. Scrolling on down, Cowboy Biker Adventures. He's going to be joining us. He's in the green room right now. We'll be coming up here pretty soon. Sassy Pants for you. There's Miss Jen right there. Miss Pearl is in the house. Glad to have you here. Desert Gypsy. Wow, got all of you guys. Good. Swirly going on here. Okay, now I think we're back. I did not check the speed here, so we're gonna see. I'm gonna bring them on right now. Tigner Adventures, are you ready to go? That's David right there. And give it if you can hear me, thumbs up. Are you good? Yeah, he can hear. Good deal.
Yeah.
We got hold on, Don. Let's see. There we go. David, how you doing?
You got to be careful what you're doing backstage. No.
I know it's hard to hire good help anymore. I'm telling you.
We're doing good.
Yeah.
We're
now,
out on the court side.
I was going to say you're in courtside right now, and it should be starting to get busy out there. I talked to you a little bit earlier, and how is courtside looking right now?
Yeah, it's picking up quite a bit. A lot of people checking into the LTVAs. I checked into the LTVA this time. Usually we've been staying at Skad and Wash, where you've stayed in the past. And really, we're only just a stone's throw from Skad and Wash, so we're really close anyway. We're just on the LTVA side. So it's right next to the LTVA, and the LTVA costs money. So that they put up signs to say, hey, don't park there because you'll get in trouble if you don't have a permit. But we got our permit. It was cheaper. So if you go to the RV pit stop, it costs about $23 every time you go get dump and get water. So for our size rig, and we have 2 rigs now. And so it ended up that I went to the LTVA, and it's $40 for 2 weeks. So I bought 4 weeks pass, and they gave me an extra pass for my other rig. So both rigs can get water and dump, for the 4 weeks. So
fantastic.
Yeah, a lot better price. So anyway, we're here working. We got a couple different jobs that we're working on, all dealing with RV life. So
you're going to be working the big show coming up here pretty soon. You're going to be you and Ninette are you going to be at a booth there in the big tent?
Yeah, we're currently working she worked the WRTR for the last few days. I'm working the RTR. That ends on Thursday, and then Friday we set up. And we're actually doing a rally. It's kind of used to be the Newmar rally on Friday. And then Saturday morning. That's our setup day also is Friday. And then Saturday morning, the tent starts. So we'll be working there for the whole time for the tent. We're in booth 319 if anybody's out in courtside. So
nice. Now you guys have your own YouTube channel. Are you going to have any stickers for people if they come by to see you?
Yep. We have a pile of Tigner Adventure stickers. We have our card with our contact information. So if you want to get we don't typically put out our main email or our phone number out on the web, but if you come by and meet us, then we give you our card that's got all that contact info on it. So then people like to get a hold of us when we're anytime. Just like we can get a hold of you and Dawn all the time too. So works out better. We're friends.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know what? And it's good seeing you again. I haven't seen you in a while, so it was good seeing you. You actually sent me a text message, and you mentioned that Ninette wants to get over to Florida, and you're not sure about that.
So this last summer we have done all the lower 48 now, and we have done all the provinces of Canada, excluding the Yukon and the Northwest Territories. So we've still got a few things to do up there, but when I say we completed them, we stayed 1 or 2 nights at each state. So we stayed in Pensacola for a couple nights over there. So we say we've been to Florida, but we haven't really been too much immersed in it. And so Ninette wants to actually go to Florida, and we've got some other friends that are spending the winter over there, and says, let's go over there in winter. And it's like, I'm pretty happy in Arizona, but
yeah, I don't blame you.
Stay away from the East Coast. We've now been all the way up and down the whole East Coast, and I can see why they say that in a way. But right. Florida is a major destination, just like Arizona is, as far as
sure.
Winter.
It comes with its own challenges, and and it is different than the Southwest. So tonight we have a number of people here that every time that I brought this subject up, it really drew up some really great conversation. And I thought, you know what, let's just put it out there, see if we can get everybody together. And, if there's people out there that are kind of reserved on whether they should head to Florida or not, because it does have its own challenges, maybe this will answer some of those questions. So real quick, I'm going to introduce one by one. Let's see if we can bring up Don here real quick. Don, how you doing?
Everyone. I'm good.
Now, Don, you've got a little bit of experience in Florida. You got here last year, right?
Yes, I got there last January 10th, and I left July 13th. So 6 months and 3 days.
Nice. Okay. And you mentioned to me is like, I wish I would have waited until Dave was going to go. And I have to tell you, I have only been here one other time, and I am by no means a professional at it.
Yeah, but you got more boondocking in than I did. So,
yeah.
All that time only I had planned more. But sometimes what they tell you on the phone is not reality. So I only got to boondock 2 places, 1 night each. Well, actually, that's not true. 3 places, 1 night each.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to get your input because I'm curious what troubles you found in your travels around Florida. And I'm going to bring on a Canadian who, if he would sit down, because he's not wearing pants. I can see him in the green room. Put some pants on, Gary. Have you got pants on? I think he's not giving me a thumb though. Wait, do we have thumbs up yet?
I can show you my pants.
Okay. All right, that's safe. That's YouTube safe.
Bottom snowman pajamas.
Gary, are you available? I see Gary. I think he put on some headphones here. Yeah. Was that a thumbs up? There we go. There we go. Mr. Gary, how you doing?
I'm not sure my audio is working. Is it working?
Well, I was making sure that you put on pants before you got on.
Why, you want to see my pants?
No, we
It's a risk.
now, Gary, you just your experience. You've come to Florida several times now, and you're coming from the Canadian perspective and coming down here, and you have your own style of doing it down here. And
Right.
I like that. I think it's a that method absolutely works, and we need to talk about that a little bit when we get to it.
Right. Well, I've been coming to Florida longer than you've been on the planet, so.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, we also have over here, we've got Lenny and Wayne and Carrie. Well, it looks like Lenny and Wayne are there. You guys got pants on? Yeah, I think that was a thumbs up. There you go.
There we
Hi
are.
guys, how you doing?
Good, good.
How you guys doing?
Now you guys have your own kind of experience, because Wayne and Carrie, you WCRV Adventures, you actually are natives of Florida. You lived here, so you kind of know the ins and outs for the most part, I would assume, of Florida.
Yeah, we've been between Carrie and I. We've been here about 40 years.
Okay, there you go. That's a good long while. So, and Lenny, what is your experience with Florida?
We've been coming here like just for vacations and visiting people for quite a while. But as far as actually RVing, we've been here, what, 2 years now? 2 different times? 2 or 3 different times. So we're kind of familiar with parts of Florida, but not all of it.
All right. That we're going to put all of this, all of the experience together. So glad that you guys can be here and hopefully answer the questions that we all want to know, or whatever we come up with in the conversation. So thanks for being here, you guys. So I guess the first one that I had is, and I remember bringing this up in text conversations before I even got to Florida, is you guys, there's too many hurricanes happening this year before I even got down here. So
you got to time it.
You got to time it. And what is the timing for hurricanes and trying to avoid that? Because I was literally sitting in Tennessee and I was ready to turn right and head back to the Southwest.
What would you say? Anytime after November?
After December
Well, the
1st.
actual hurricane season begins on June 1st.
Yeah, definitely.
Ends on November 30th. But although it begins on June 1st, you're probably good till August, end of July. I mean, yes, there may be an occasional storm, but pretty much June, July, even into a little bit of August, you're pretty safe. I think September 10th is the peak. So late August, September, October is when it becomes more active.
Yeah, and that's when I was up there in Tennessee. I was kind of looking at the mess that's kind of created from hurricanes, and there was part of me that didn't want to be in the way and coming down there and being in the middle of that and them trying to clean up. We unfortunately, when we're off in different parts of the country, we only see what they portray on the news. We don't actually see what's going on down here. And if you were to go by the news, I can tell you from my own perspective and what I saw when I finally drove down here, it isn't nearly as bad as what they put out on the news. And that's not to say that they aren't bad, but I was really expecting a lot more damage, a lot more, and
The news tends to portray it as the entire state of Florida is messed up, when it's usually just one or two towns that are probably hit pretty badly and are damaged, but it's not the entire state.
yeah.
Would you agree? Would you think?
Yeah, and usually, I mean, from my experience, the people doing the news usually stand in the deepest puddle they can find.
Yeah.
You know,
Turn on a wind machine if it's not quite windy enough.
if you watch the camera and they go, to the left or the right, you can see the trees aren't even moving yet. They're saying, "Oh my God, this is horrible." And
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can tell you from firsthand experience driving down, I did see signs blown down. I saw trees blown down, but I did not see the devastation and destruction that they, and maybe it was just lucky. I don't know.
Right.
But
a lot of that, you've probably seen that up around I-10, Dave, right? A lot of trees down up around I-10.
I
Georgia?
came down from Tennessee. I don't remember the route that I came through, but I came through Georgia and coming down that way.
Yeah, there's a little damage on I-75 coming down, but
Mostly trees.
yeah, mostly trees.
Yeah.
And the people here are, I don't want to say used to it, but it's part of life for them, So
I got
they know
that
where to
feeling.
go. And you get a lot of warning. The one thing about hurricanes is you do get a lot of warning. You have days and days to get out of the way if you need to.
Right.
You guys have had to
Right.
relocate because of hurricanes, haven't you? Or was it?
Yeah, actually, no. Carrie and I, we were in Myrtle Beach for the first hurricane. We left about a week early, and we went west to like Raleigh-Durham, and it caught up to us. But by the time it got that far west, it was mostly light wind and mostly rain.
Yeah.
And then the second one that hit Asheville, North Carolina, we were there the week prior, and we had left Asheville and went back east to Raleigh-Durham. That's where our son and grandkids live.
Right.
And thankfully, that one stayed west. It stayed out even west of, it hit Asheville, basically. And I'm sure you guys all seen on the news what happened to Asheville in North Carolina.
Yeah, we did. And Helene, and it's and they did get hit hard. Absolutely, it's not to say that they didn't. It was tragic, but at the same time, you picture a much wider area, a much bigger area, and I think your response to me when I said, I'm not sure if I should be coming down there, you just said, no, you need to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the damage, I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's not the wind damage; it's more the water damage. When you're close to the shore, the Gulf or on the Atlantic side, the water is what, like in Asheville, it was that French Broad River did a lot of the damage. That one road that runs parallel to the French Broad River, we stayed at the campground there, and that road, literally, the asphalt was gone. It looked like a dirt road after the storm.
The whole state is basically 3 feet above sea level, so anytime they get a hard rain, stuff floods. So it's nowhere for it to go.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I guess that's easy. Why it's easy to get reservations at Fiesta Key in October.
Oh yeah, in October it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
October,
I imagine June through October, you could probably have an easy time getting into Fiesta or Sunshine Key, any of those.
Well, when I left the Lower Keys, 2 weeks, I think it was 2 weeks later, or was it a month later, they had a terrible storm, and it was all, that most southern point buoy.
Mm-hmm.
It was all covered with debris and all that stuff. So I feel like I lucked out, and I left the middle of May.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And that's going to be about my timing this year as well, Don. That's the other thing. I'd like to think that there's so much notification and so much, that they cover these hurricanes as they're forming. Hey, this house has wheels and I can roll at any time, So,
well, there is one thing about those wheels. There's only one way in and one way out when you go down to Key West.
Yeah, and it's really, all of Florida is affected with that. I mean, you have a few different routes heading north, but all of them, you have to go north before you can go west. So,
right.
And in the Keys, you don't realize, but people who haven't been down in the Keys, it's a long way. It's a long way from the tip for the first key to the last key is a long ride.
I think I don't remember. I'm going by memory. I want to say it was around 100 miles.
Yeah.
From Key Largo down to
I think it was 150 from to Key West from Everglades, Miami Everglades.
Yeah.
Is it that far? See, I don't remember.
Yeah, and then of course, like you said, you've only got one lane of traffic, so you're doing 45, 50 miles an hour. It ain't like you're jumping up to 75 miles an hour either on that road.
Oh, and it's a different road, and I would not speed on that road.
No.
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't like the outcome.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't. The tourists to get in front of you and slow down.
Well, even if you could, I don't think you could afford a ticket. They're serious about it.
128 miles from Homestead to Key West, so you were pretty close to right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking I had 110 or 15, maybe 20 from Sunshine Key to Miami Everglades Encore Park.
But it takes a long time. There's only one road.
Right. Bill chimed in and said, they issue a lot of speeding tickets on the Keys too. So
there's a lot of cops on the road.
Yep. They don't play.
No.
So if you were looking at a place to go, like we're used to this dry desert, so and we don't know anything about the East really. So if we were headed over to the Keys, I mean, is the Keys the place you want to go, or do you want to be more inland on Florida, like up by Pensacola kind of thing, or what?
The Keys is like its own little country.
Yes.
You got Florida, and then you got the Keys. So the Keys is a very low. Nobody's in a hurry. They have a very cool, just lay back and chill vibe. There's still a lot of traffic, but nobody's really getting angry and beeping their horn. It's just a different environment in the Keys. The Keys, I would say, is almost not Florida.
It's pretty much you fish, you boat, scuba dive, snorkel,
or drink.
Yes.
That's it.
Well, I was by Pensacola, was it Gulf Shores?
Yeah.
For 2 months, 3 years ago. And that really is not Florida, if you ask me. It was 99% humidity, and it was not cool. It was, I was there all of November, December, and I left Florida, I think January the 2nd, 3 years ago. Now, this past year, I went to Florida, I went to Florida, of course, and then I went to the Keys. And to be honest with you, there's no reason to go to Florida if you don't go to the Keys, in my opinion. It's no big deal.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I am enjoying the hell out of Orlando, and I think Gary could back me up on this, because I think Gary spent the most time in Orlando of us. And with the exception of Wayne and Carrie, possibly.
Well,
we love it here.
There's not a whole lot you can do in Orlando you can't do in other parts of this country.
Yeah,
what is Don, what
Key
is it?
West
What
is very unique to the other parts of this country.
Yeah, but Don, what is it you need to do?
Well, I personally like to be around water when I can.
Right.
And to be honest with you, the biggest thing for me about Key West to make it worthwhile is the color of the water. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, yeah.
A camera does not do it justice. I've tried with drones and cameras, but it's the color of the water. It just does something to your inner soul that makes it the world all right.
Well, we
Oh,
live by the Great Lakes, right? So we saw water our entire lives. We also
Not the
from
same
Ontario.
kind of water, Gary.
Ontario also has more lakes than any other province or any other country, you know. So there's
Yeah.
lots of water around, and I've been to
Yep.
the ocean countless times. But I
Yep.
see it. I find it very easy to just sit here and relax. And we have a lot of friends here, right? Like if I were to move from here, I'd be going away from the people I know. We just have a lot of friends here. It's crazy.
Orlando's a nice place, and you know I don't knock Orlando, but Orlando's vibe is very different than say Key West vibe compared to near Port Charlotte and on the Gulf Coast side, and even up at the Panhandle near what is it? What's the Pensacola? It's got a different vibe. Florida,
Destin.
or Destin, Destin,
Panama
Florida,
City,
Panama City.
Yeah, Panama City, Destin,
Yeah.
and Pensacola.
They're all very unique. To say one part is better than another would be, I think, be wrong.
Oh my gosh, they all have their own. They all have their own little vibe. I will say, as far as the Keys go, one of the reasons why I wanted to get down there so bad, it feels like, to me, it feels like the closest place or the only place in the continental U.S. where you can drive to Hawaii.
It feels like you are driving to Hawaii.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna back pedal here. Up in the Panhandle, the Emerald Coast is really fantastic. Also, but with that saying, if we could just move Key West and put it where Baja, Mexico is, we would have it made out here out west.
You've been like over near Crystal River where they have the manatees by the hundreds come in there and you can swim with them and touch them and poke them on the nose, I think. I don't know. But that's got, that's a very, very cool area over there. But the Keys is just, if you've never been to the Keys, it is just a destination. It's like saying, how's the weather in Texas? You know, it's
right.
You got West Texas, East Texas. It's all a little different. So,
I will say this: Anastasia State Park over on the the Atlantic coast side, is fantastic too.
Yeah. The problem with the Keys is it's hard to find spots to stay because there's only a little bit of land here and there's a lot of people, especially after hurricane season. Like you're saying that you could get into Fiesta Key or one of the Thousand Trails parks in October. I remember we got into Sunshine Key in October, like our first year out, and it was pretty easy. But to get into December, January is a little bit tougher.
Right.
Yeah. Now it's almost impossible. We're at the state park right now. We're at Curry Hammock, and we had to book that 11 months out.
Yeah,
to the minute. We had to book it out 11 months.
I actually use several different sources of types of places to stay in my 6 months in the Keys, and I only could accomplish that because I did get there number one in January, but as far as the Keys concerned, I did not get to the Keys to the third week in April, and I don't think I could have got the Keys before that.
There are people we've met here, like we're staying 2 weeks in this spot, and they said that's really unusual for people to stay in the state park for 2 weeks. They actually called us tweakers, 2 weekers. We've met people here though. Sorry, go ahead, Don.
I'm sorry, what was you saying?
We met people here that said they come to the state parks with no planning whatsoever. They said because there's always people canceling and you can catch 1, 2, or 3 day stints at a couple of the different state parks. But they're coming here with, you know,
Right. Weekenders.
So, yeah.
They're weekenders.
Well, some of them,
so it's no big deal if they don't get it. If we don't get it, where do we stay?
The one guy we were talking to, he was a full-timer, I think, and he says there's always a cancellation. You just got to go here for a day, here for 2 days, there for 3 days.
Yeah, if you don't mind bouncing around.
If you don't mind bouncing around, and
I'm not into that.
It'll make you nervous. It'd make me a little nervous, but
yeah. I actually stayed at 5 state parks when I was in Florida, and I got those off of Wandering Labs.
Yep.
And that was hard to do. That took a long time to get accomplished.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, even with us, Angela and I are Florida residents, just because we were in Michigan and we didn't want to pay Michigan taxes. But when we were planning this thing 11 months ahead of time, we get an extra month ahead of everybody else because of our Florida residency. We were actually on the phone with Wayne and Carrie at midnight, and we're like, 3, 2, 1, click. They got it. We didn't. It was that fast.
Wow.
We had to wait till the next day, and then we were able to get in, and we got it the next day. But it happens that fast when you're trying to plan that far ahead.
You would think with all that water, they would have more Corps engineer parks, but they only have 3 in the whole state.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's right across the middle of the state, right by Lake Okeechobee. St. Lucie.
Right, they're in line with each other across the state. That's where that canal goes from, the Atlantic to the Gulf Coast to cut off all those miles.
St. Lucie South over to WP Franklin and Fort Myers.
Yep,
Okay.
and the one in between is Ortona South.
Yes.
And I stayed there twice.
So what is is somebody coming here to Florida and, do you think that a membership like Thousand Trails is a must, or is this something that somebody could come to Florida and, what are the opinions out there? Gary, I'm going to ask you first, because Gary, you do a kind of a system where you travel the between the parks right here around Orlando. Is that correct?
Well, this year in particular, we're staying right between Lake Magic and TTO. So I think it's 3 miles apart. That's every 2 weeks we're moving 3 miles. And we're doing that because we have a lot of friends and relatives here. And don't get me wrong, I love all of Florida. It's just convenient for us to be here, right? Like we can go anywhere we want here on our e-bikes, Walmart, the grocery store, the liquor store. We can go from one park to another. When we're in Lake Magic, we can get on our e-bikes and come over to TTO and visit friends over here just on our e-bikes. So it's really convenient and easy for us. And my aunt and uncle were lifetime employees at Disney. So we've been coming to Orlando since I was a little kid and getting into Disney for free for, I don't know, dozens of times. And we've been in this area forever. Another thing that I think Dave and I touched on when he was talking to me about this show is people say that they might be afraid to actually come to Florida, right? I think it's a lot of hype. I don't think there's anything to be afraid of, especially when you're in these large parks. Like, who cares? It's no different here to us than anywhere else on the planet. It's fine. We feel very safe here. Right.
Yeah. No, I don't have any problem with that, but I wonder like that. What would be their options? And Don, you traveled around here last year, and one of the things you mentioned to me was, where's the boondocking?
Yeah.
And where do you go because I think you're like me. I have to be out for 7 days and then I can come back in.
Yeah, pro shops.
Well,
yeah, that's about it.
I can go park to park with my full-blown Thousand Trails membership, but my trails collection, which people don't tell you this, but all of those parks in Florida, but 3 are trails collection. And now Gary has a long ways out to make reservations trail collection. I only can make 60 days. That presents a problem. So, and I cannot go park to park on trail collections. So that's why I also, through Thousand Trails, is a member of RPI, Resort International Parks, and I added that on because that allows me to go to that park and then go to a trails collection. For example, when I was in Florida, I went Fiesta Key and Sunshine Key under RPI. Well, Trails collections was $20 a night. I only paid $15. Okay. Plus, I knew when I was coming back, I was going to go to Florida Everglades for 2 weeks, and I couldn't do that if I was using my Trails collection down in Sunshine Keys. So I saved that 2 weeks for my Trails collection, which of course is no charge. And by the way, they will let you get packages there. A lot of these other places won't let you get packages, or they charge you $5 a package. So, you know, there's a lot of strategy involved to figuring this all out. So, I highly recommend, if you've got Trails you can't get RPI unless you have full blown 1,000 Trails or coast to coast or something like that. Right. But I do highly recommend getting RPI. Yeah. I think it's about $150 something a year or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, no, it's, you know, I'm not sure that I would come to Florida if I didn't have the 1,000 Trails in any shape or form. Yeah. There are a lot of places actually. Bill piped in and he said all the places are top secret here, but they do exist. And
yeah, I had to find one on the fly when I went down to Miami, and they told me that you can boondock at this Cracker Barrel, right, or Lot Dock, and I get down there and I had to park next door at a hotel to go walk over there, and signs are everywhere. You cannot park there, you know? So, anyhow, I had to find a place. I already had plan B in mind, and that was to head west down, 41, Alligator Alley. Yeah. And I went out to the Everglades in boondock one night because that's all they would let you, number one, but that's all I had scheduled. That's all they would do because of the time of day. You only can boondock there certain months out of the year, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. Yeah. And anyhow, I did that. That saved me. And never saw a alligator.
There's one over in TTO I took some pictures of the other day, I saw, and he's about a 4-footer, and if you throw something in front of him, he'll come out of the water and check out what you threw there. So he's definitely being hand fed.
There's a retention pond in Orlando, Thousand Trails, that I actually saw about this long sunning on a sandbar.
Right.
Just before I left there, before I started heading out of Florida, is the first and only one I saw the whole time in Florida, 6 months. And I even walked down to the water's edge trying to find Mama, and I could not do that.
Well, did you go to Peace River?
Yep.
There's a bunch of Peace River, yeah.
I walked that trail. I walked that. I filmed it.
Maybe you need to go swimming in Peace River.
I never saw a alligator.
If I could comment on, people are saying, like Don was saying, we can book way out and stuff like that. My 90-day encore, it really doesn't mean much, and I'm sure that Wayne and Lenny can say the same thing. When you want to get into Fiesta Key or Sunshine Key or the Everglades or Space Coast or all of the super popular encores, 90 days isn't good. It's always It's always 102 days away they can get in. Or 93 days away.
Yeah.
It's never
Gary?
90 days.
Gary, if I could get 61 days, I would still beat 95% of the people.
Oh yeah.
So when you get 90 days, you're beating probably 95% of the people. So yes, you got
I
a
still
better
don't get
shot.
anything though, Don. I
Yes.
still don't get anything.
You know, the Space Coast is also another part of Florida that's interesting to visit, because if you haven't seen it with your own eyes, watching some of them rockets take off is amazing.
Yep.
If you get a chance to go up to the Space Coast and watch those things,
Yeah. We've been watching them from Lake Magic and TTO. We've been watching the rocket launches. You see them every night.
Yeah.
There's one at 1 a.m. this morning. And 1 a.m. last night too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question, Dave, Gary.
Yeah.
Have you ever at Orlando Thousand Trails gone down to their lake, shine lights across the lake, and saw eyeballs staring back at you?
I don't go down there when it's dark.
Told you would see hundreds, and that's alligators, of course. And now I never did that. I did go down there and did shorts and filmed at the lake, and looked around, and I never could find an alligator. And I know they're down there.
You got to go swimming, Don. You'll find them.
Yeah, you'll find them if you go.
Tell you what, Gary, you go first, and I'll be right there.
Oh, I've seen them. I don't need to. I'm good.
If you check out, like, I know, like near Mayaca State Park, we went there and we saw a bunch of gators.
No.
Especially when it's warm out, they give you a little boat ride and they'll explain what's going on. A bunch of gators. And we were coming back in on that little pontoon boat, and the lake, river, whatever that thing is, there was like, I want to say 24 gators that had surfaced, and we're just like looking around. Mayaca State Park's got a bunch of gators and big ones too.
Well, you brought up heat, so let's just talk about heat, because it is hot in Florida in June, in July, in April, in May. You don't think it's not?
Well,
That's why the snowbirds leave by March.
It's cold in the winter in Canada, Don.
Hey, Don, can I jump in and correct you? It's
Okay.
really not hot in Florida in June, July, and August. It's just humid.
Humid.
It's hot.
It's humid. Yeah.
Take away the humidity, and it's not so bad.
Wayne, when we was on my roof of my RV working on a AC, and thank you for that, it was a little warm, and that was in May.
You know, I'm no alligatorologist, but I do know, though, that you might not see them unless it hits about 84, 85 degrees. It has to be that warm for them to digest food, so they won't come out or look around or do anything if it ain't at least 84, 85 degrees out.
Well, plus
I don't think that was an issue.
Yeah. If you try looking for them when it's cold out there under the water trying to stay warm.
No, didn't see it. I wasn't even looking for them, and really until I got, to the middle of Florida and down.
Yeah.
So,
But that would be another good question. I mean, I can't speak to it, but do they actually pose a danger, or are they just something to see in the water, and you probably don't want to go and play with them?
I'll speak to that, Dave, because it's funny when you go out west. People, out west, they say, "Oh, you guys have to watch out for alligators in Florida," and alligators, for the 35, 40 years that Carrie and I have been here, they don't pose a threat to humans. Where people tend to get in trouble is when you take your dog and you walk your pet, dog or a cat or whatever, down by the lakeside. They like them. That's like dessert.
Snack puppies.
You don't really hear too much about alligators attacking people. It's more like a dog disappeared.
Well,
or something like that.
Out west got the same problem, just not alligator. They're called coyotes.
Yeah,
I had one, let's see, 12 days ago, go across my mat at 4 something in the morning. I just did a short on it with a cat in its mouth. And, and right across my mat, my front door security camera caught it.
Really?
Wow.
And there was 2 females further out. If you look close, follow them.
Yeah. Yeah, it does suppose that, I will say though that, I had a large dog. If you have a dog and you're coming to Florida, and they, especially like my dog was a water dog. Chance loved the water. In fact, it would kill him not to be able to go swimming in the water. And for just about with the exception of one time, I let that dog go swimming in the water. But and even then, I had a forest ranger come over and say, it really isn't safe for your dog to be swimming in the water. And yeah,
they say every freshwater body could have a gator in it.
Yeah, if you come up to Canada, you got to watch out for the mosquitoes, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Those are probably more annoying than gators and coyotes, mosquitoes.
Yeah. And they're size of hummingbirds, I bet you.
Well, a moose won't bother you unless you're doing the wrong thing.
it is a very diverse
Canadian highway. We've seen quite a few big splats on the road where someone hit a moose.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Going
wow.
to Nova Scotia.
Oh yeah.
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 Was the car still there?
What's that?
Yeah.
The
I'm
one
sure
that
it
hit
would
the moose.
destroy anything.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it is a diverse, very diverse state, and that's one of the reasons why I love it. The other thing is that it's green here. Even in the winter, it's green here. And doing 4 years in the Southwest and then coming over here, I really I appreciate the green. The highways are amazing as far as I'm concerned. Probably some of the best highways in the country. They're just, I don't know how they manage to mow all the sides of the freeways, but it all just looks like one big long golf course when you drive around here. And that's pretty amazing to me. But
and everybody's got to get to Key West at least once to see the freak show, because there's some stuff in Key West you just can't see anywhere else.
Oh, yeah.
It's just amazing. And Orlando also has something that's very unique, and I'm surprised Gary hasn't been there, is the beer spa.
Spa. That's a thing.
Beer spot in Orlando. I've been there. It's amazing.
Okay, there you go.
Uber there though, because you're not going to be able to drive home.
Yeah.
There you go, Gary.
I learned from Dave. I only have 2, right? See, here they are. That's it.
There you go. Two at one
You didn't mean 2 at the same time.
No, I take 2 from the fridge at a time.
You look up the beer spot. It's unlimited beer, and you got your own hot tub. You're in your private room. They have a tap right in the room with you. It's amazing.
Nice.
So,
wow. So, David, what do you think so far? I mean, you got any more ideas or thoughts on what questions or concerns come to mind?
Well, it sounds like January, February is when everyone wants to be there. So we have been driving around the state, like in our vehicle down to the Keys, to that 0 point that Don was talking about. We've been that way. I'm not sure, and then as far as driving our rig, I'm guessing that it would be basically the same as, driving your rig anywhere as far as, are the roads, I know in Don's case, he went to Mexico a couple years ago and the roads were so thin he lost a mirror, or skinny. So problems in Florida.
Plenty of room on the roads. Yeah. And when you're in the Keys, make sure you go, not just stay on the main road. You got to get off the side roads, go into these different neighborhoods and stuff. We found
Get out of your RV.
Yeah, get out of your RV and just go find these side roads in your other car, because we found a place the other day. We watched the sunset from this restaurant, and they had deep fried key lime pie. So, you got to.
I saw that.
Yeah, you got to look around. There's amazing stuff. We found the key deer. We found key deer the other day, and there was like a herd of them. They actually walked up to Angela and sniffed her hand. There was we'd say 8 or 9, 12 of them, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find key deer all over the place if you get off of the main road and just take a left or a right on any side street.
they actually reduced the speed limit on US 1. It's like 35 during, no, it's 45 during the day and it's 35 at night because of the deer.
Yeah.
And I
Those-
guess I don't know the answer to this, but apparently there's a penalty if you hit and kill a key deer. You have to report it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think it was pretty much like Big Pine Key.
Yeah. Big Pine
When we
Key.
went down to Big Pine Key, they're everywhere. It's unbelievable.
And there's a place where you can hand feed the tarpon. Like the tarpon, you just give them a fish and they'll come up out of the water and grab them. And so.
Yeah.
I got a question. Does anybody know the answer? How many keys are there in Florida?
We looked it up one time, and it's almost a trick question because there's a bunch of keys that don't even have roads that have people on them.
Right.
There's like key nobody heard of and key somewhere else, and so no name key. And
there's
like
800.
Don's key and Billy Bob's key, and
there's 800 of them.
There's 800.
800.
That sounds like Thousand Islands.
Yeah. I will say this. I did not mean to bash Florida. Everybody has to do Florida. At least one.
800 keys. He looked
Everybody.
up 800 keys. Oh,
Wow.
Don just said it. Yeah.
The reason that we like Florida is, like Dave said, it's green here, and we're from Canada, and it's green everywhere.
Yeah.
So when Carol and I went to the Quartzsite rally there for Bob and Pearl's rally, we were thrown by the fact that it's just a desert and everything's dead, and anything that's alive is on its way out because they're trying to eat it from the bottom up, and it's just a different thing. Everything is dead. We're so not used to that, right?
Yeah.
So we were there for 3 weeks, and then we got to Texas, I guess, by the time we pulled over and really cleaned our rig down to get that quartzite dust off it. And even getting back to Canada the following year, opening the hood of my car, and it's still covered in that quartzite dust, right? So we're definitely not used to that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, a lot of that is your perspective too. Like I love the desert. I like the green areas. I like the mountains. I get sick of the mountains. I want to go see some green stuff. But the desert, we've seen like when the cactus are blooming and it's just gorgeous there, and you see beautiful sunsets. And I remember we were somewhere where there was a bunch of trees. I don't remember. I overheard some lady talking.
Oregon.
Was it Oregon? Okay, we were in Oregon, and I heard some lady talking. She was from the desert area. And she's like, she was an older lady. She's like, I don't get all this tree stuff. She goes, it just blocks your view. You can't see any mountains. You can't see any sunsets, no sunrises. She goes, I don't get it. All it is all this woods is just blocking my view. And I thought, well, I guess it's how you look at it, you know. But I like it all. I like the key vibe, and I'll get sick of that, and then I want to go out to the desert.
Yeah, if you go a year or so without seeing a tree, you change your mind.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
wanna
But I'll
see a
tell you,
tree.
the sunrises and the sunsets in Arizona are
They're gorgeous.
Really
They're
I
gorgeous.
miss it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
don't
can get them
necessarily
here.
see
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
do
can
get 'em
get
there?
them here, but you got to be in the right location and make them, because I've gotten sunset and sunrise pictures from Wayne and Carrie every now and then that would just absolutely blow you away. But you got to be closer, I think anyway, you got to be closer to bodies of water where you have no obstructions, and then you've got it made. I think Gary was telling me there at that Tranquility Lake that was
Unbelievable.
Was pretty, I got a couple
The
pictures
spot
of that.
The spot that we got at Tranquility Lakes, we'll probably never get again, because it is in the middle of the prime side of the park to be in. And every day the sun comes up on one side and it goes across the sky and it goes down on the other side. You get a sunrise and a sunset every day. And it was just amazing. But even up back home there in Grand Bend, Ontario, the sunsets there are incredible. Like National Geographic called it one year the best sunsets in the world, but they are over the water. And I take a lot of sunset pictures, and I like seeing the reflection of the sky in the water. It's like a double sunset. It's beautiful.
My best sunsets I've ever seen were in New Mexico, and I think it was, I think part of the reason why it was such a great sunset is because there's so much dust in the air that it made the whole sky look really reflective. But part of that, is just dirt in the air. So
Well, yeah, the sunset, National Geographic said that the sunsets are so good in Grand Bend because we get the dust in the air from Ohio.
yeah, exactly.
I'm sitting less than 8 miles from California, and the sun sets on that mountain over there. In the, California side, that's where the California is pretty amazing at times.
Yeah, yeah.
People are always asking me, they're always saying, so you've traveled, in our case now, we've traveled every state. And so which is the best one and where are you going to move? And I always tell people that, every state out there has something that is just perfect.
Yeah.
I couldn't pick. I've been to all of them too, except for Alaska, which I'm going to, and then eventually Hawaii with a camper van, but hopefully. But I can say this, I don't pick states. I pick destinations, the top 4 or 5, and they're pretty amazing. Key West would be one of them, Yellowstone, Baja, Mexico, Niagara Falls. That just comes to mind right offhand.
Yeah, and that like Niagara Falls is a good example too. If somebody said, "Well, you've been to every state. What'd you think of New York?" Well, there are parts of New York that are horrible, but then there are parts that are beautiful. So, you can't really judge it by the state. You got to go, around the state, and every different parts of the state are different vibe.
Well, you would change your mind of your view of New York or Manhattan if you had that out your front windshield, like I did for 8 days, I think it was.
Yeah.
Across the East River. What amazing skyline I had, and that there's only a handful of RVers that's ever going to experience that, and I do recommend it.
Not
it's
all of
hard,
us. Not
it's
all of us
hard
are
and scary getting a big rig in there. What's that?
Not all of us are that level of crazy to drive through Manhattan with their rig.
Well, I tell you what, those when those bridges was made back in the early 1900s, and they're only like 10 foot tall, and your rig's 12 and a half. It's scary.
Yeah.
But and it's not cheap. But I highly recommend it if somebody gets a chance to do that. But I know we're talking about Florida.
Yeah.
Still highly recommend Florida.
I think Florida's a good place to spend a winter, but you got to move around, get different spots. There's no one spot. You got to look around and go West Coast, East Coast, middle, hit the glades, see the glades people. So
I think there's been so much to see here in Orlando. I really haven't gotten tired of it yet. I take days off, and then it's like, okay, what am I going after next? And I have so many ideas about things that I want to see. And I mean, even Don just mentioned one today is like, you could make videos of the different resorts, the different Disney World resorts that are just around Disney World. And it literally doesn't cost anything. Just don't buy coffee there because that'll run you $7. But I mean,
is Orlando near Kissimmee?
Yes.
Okay. So have you been to the Tupperware Museum?
No, and see, there's so many things here. I haven't.
You got to go to the Tupperware Museum. That way, I don't have to go. So
I
make a video. I don't have to.
I got to go see the Ball of String first.
Oh, the Ball of Twine in Kansas. Yeah. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's stuff in Kansas I did not know about.
Where's your favorite place? He has an answer.
Yeah, my favorite place now is Cawker City, Kansas. That's where the giant ball of twine's at.
I saw that video.
That was amazing. A 5-minute stop in hours.
I get questions all the time whenever I tell somebody that I've traveled to most all the states. I haven't been to all of them. I haven't figured out how to get up to a couple of them. But they say, what's your favorite state so far? And honestly, they're all amazing and in one way, shape, or another. And it would almost, my best answer is it would be like picking one of my kids and saying, what's my favorite kid?
Well, then that means secretly there is one. You just can't say it out loud.
That's right.
No, I really, I can't. I can't say as I have a favorite state. Yeah.
I always say that it's wherever we're at the time.
Yeah.
There you go. I like that.
We've said that too.
Yeah, that's what we've said too. Or the state of relaxation is where our favorite state is. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Well, if you want to relax, retire, because that did wonders for me. I was wound up tight until I retired.
Oh, me
Oh,
too,
yeah.
Don. I told Carol I got to retire. I'm going to die. I was so wound up, it was ridiculous. I said I got to sell my business and I got to just get out of all of it.
Yep.
And it changed my life.
Well, it's called the rat race, and if you retire and get out of the city, it does wonders for everything.
When my dad passed away, it changed my life. That's for sure.
Same for me. Same for me. Yeah. What so any other thoughts or before we wrap this one up?
Well, I'll just say though that when it comes to Florida and the Keys, there are a bazillion places if you have an unlimited budget to stay, because there's a bunch of RV parks, but some of them are very pricey.
Good point.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So if you can do state parks or Thousand Trails or Boondock, that's the best way.
$1,200 a week.
Oh yeah, we just found out. Wayne just found out Fiesta Key, if you were to pay retail, it's $1,200 a week.
Yeah.
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 Well, look, Dave just tried to go to Tranquility. How much was that, Dave?
I tried to book one night at Tranquility just to see if I can, and I did find an available night. And I don't know if I did something wrong on my trails collection or what, but it said $268 for one night at Tranquility.
Wow.
Actually, to answer your question, Gary, Carrie and I had a reservation at Tranquility for a week. It was $1,600,
Ouch.
and that was with the discount.
Oh, that's
Wow.
worse than the Keys.
Yeah, yeah.
We
Well,
stayed there for 3 weeks.
If money's no object,
Trails collection.
you can go to the Keys for about $5,000 a month. You know, if you can get the reservations, because those are booked too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
well,
know, also, I don't know if you looked around, Don, but there's a lot of county parks.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I did find one. I think it was $800 or $900 for a month around Miami area.
right?
I could not. They would not take my reservations because I pull in an enclosed trailer. They don't allow them.
Really?
Wow, that's odd.
Yeah. Otherwise, But you know, I stayed in the Keys only 3 weeks. But if I didn't have my trailer, which they charged me for that, by the way, at the two Encores, 120 something one place, 150 something the other for a week each. But if you take that out of the equation, I mean, I stayed in the Keys, including John Kent, Vander Kent.
Yeah, Mellencamp. Yeah.
Mellencamp, that's it. State Park. I think it would have been less than right at $500 for 3 weeks in the Keys, and most people don't do the Keys that cheap.
Yeah, I just did 3 days at Pennicamp and 3 days at is it Bahia Honda or Bahia Honda?
Yeah.
And
Bahia Honda. Yeah.
Bahia Honda.
Which is, by the way, just across the bridge from Sunshine Key. I flew my drone over there and it lost connection. It was a little bit far, but
I got 10 days total. My bill was about $471, I think, for those 10 days. So
That's not bad.
yeah,
It's not horrible. It's not horrible.
Is he coming down?
no, if you will spend money though, if you're used to, and like I am, I'm used to boondocking and staying, you know, and not paying. You will spend more money in Florida.
Yes.
But I will say, if you can't find free camping, which there's plenty on Campendium, you know, Overlander, there are a lot of free places, including the water management areas, the wildlife management areas. But there are a number of campgrounds as well at $20 or less, scattered around the state. So it's not impossible to stay. But it is more expensive to be here than over in the Southwest, where you can just about go anywhere.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to more or less have a reservation. When you come east, it's more reservation driven than just pulling off and boondocking. There is one exception to what you just said, Dave.
Yeah.
That place called the Brighton Seminole Casino. Didn't we all walk away winners?
Yeah.
Well, I will say that I think we all did. They paid us to stay there.
Yeah.
I even after my drinks and everything, I think I still put $100 in the safe. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, Carrie walked away with 300. Angela, you walked away with a couple of hundred.
Yeah.
I was like, wow,
Yeah.
we just run. We had to get out of there after one night.
That's
gotta
not a
quit when you're up.
guarantee, of course, but yeah, that was a fortunate benefit of the casino.
That's how we highly recommend everybody travel. Just go to casinos and play lots of casino games. You're gonna probably win, most likely, and you'll make money as you go around the country with casinos. That's what I would advise people to do.
I don't think that's a good idea, Lenny. I don't.
And while you're making money, you get free drinks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Well, guys, we're way past time, but it's been great having you guys on, and hopefully we answered some questions. If people have more, they can. You're all on YouTube. Tigner Adventures on YouTube, Cowboy Biker Adventures, Dawn, Gary RV Living Life, and Lenny and Angela there. Lenny's. Why am I drawing a blank on your name?
Life with Lenny.
Life with Lenny.
Life with Lenny. Yeah. But I mean, and I still say that Wayne and Carrie, you guys ought to have a YouTube channel, because I want to see
on everyone else's channel.
Yeah, they're on everybody else. They're always with us or Dave or Don, or they're always on everybody else's channel.
They're on YouTube all the time, and they don't have to edit.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, they don't have to do any of the work, and they got all kinds of YouTube videos showing their adventures.
I promised my wife, and we actually promised each other, that we both spent so much time on computers that we swore we would never do it again. That sounds too much like work.
You might be right. You might be right. Well, I'm so glad that you guys could put in there. I really appreciate the information. Finally, my time right there for it, put it out there. Great information. Thanks for the input. Everybody, have a great week, and we're going to go ahead and wrap this up.
Bye,
All right.
Right, have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Have a good night. There we go.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.